Hello, Dark Reader, and welcome to the Dark Side of the Library podcast. I'm your host, Katie. Today we're going to be talking about new YA books that are coming out July of 2023. So let's get started. We have first up, A Guide to the Dark. This came out July 18th. Something is building, simmering just out of reach. The room is watching, but Mira and Layla don't know this yet. When the two best friends are stranded on their spring break college tour road trip, they find themselves at the Wildwood Motel, located in the middle of nowhere, Indiana. Mira can't shake the feeling that there is something wrong and rotten about their room. Inside, she's haunted by nightmares of her dead brother. When she wakes up, he's still there. Layla doesn't see him or notice anything suspicious about room 9. The place may be a little run down, but it has a certain charm. She can't wait to capture on camera. If Layla is being honest, she's too preoccupied with confusing feelings for Mira to see much else. But when they learn 8 people died in that same room, they realize there must be a connection between the deaths and unexplainable things that keep happening inside it. They just have to find the connection before Mira becomes the 9th. This is a it's not a psychological thriller. It's a supernatural thriller. I'm not sure why it says this is #1 for Tunisia travel guides on Amazon. So this is A Guide to the Dark. This is by Meriam, Metoui. Next up, we have A Warning About Swans. This is by R.M. Romero, and it came out July 11th. This is like Swan Lake meets The Last Unicorn in a Brothers Grimm way. So think Bavaria, 1880. Hilda was dreamed into existence by the god Odin and, along with her 5 sisters, granted cloaks that transform them into swans. Each sister's cloak is imbued with a unique gift, but Hild rejects her gift, which allows her to lead the souls of dying creatures to the afterlife. While guiding the soul of a hawk, Hild meets the handsome Baron Maximilian von Richter, whose father left him no inheritance. Hild is intrigued by Richter's longing for a greater life and strikes a deal with him. She will manifest his dreams of riches, and in return, he will take her to the human world, where the Song of Souls can't reach her. But at the court of King Ludwig II in Munich, Hild struggles to fit in. After learning that fashionable ladies are sitting for portraits, she hires non-binary Jewish artist Franz Mendelssohn and is stunned when Franz renders her with swan wings. The more time she spends with Franz, the more she feels drawn to the artist's warm, understanding nature, and the more controlling Richter becomes. When Hild's swan cloak suddenly goes missing, only Franz's ability to paint the true nature of souls can help Hild escape her newfound prison. This sounds really interesting. It's definitely more of a fairy tale. This is called A Warning About Swans. This is by R.M. Romero. Next on our list today, it is published by Margaret K. McElderberry Books. This is Bonesmith, House of the Dead Duology. This is by Nicki Preto. It's kind of like Game of Thrones and Gideon the Ninth. Ready your blade, defeat the undead. In the Dominions, the dead linger violent and unpredictable, unless a bonesmith severs the ghost from its earthly remains. For bonesmith Ren, becoming a Valkyr, a ghost-fighting warrior, is a chance to solidify her place in the noble house of Bone and impress her frequently absent father. But when sabotage causes Ren to fail her qualifying trial, she is banished to the border wall, the last line of defense against the wasteland called the Breach, where the vicious dead roam unchecked. Determined to reclaim her family's respect, Ren gets her chance when a House of Gold prince is kidnapped and taken beyond the wall. I can see where the Game of Thrones thing is coming in. To prove she has what it takes to be a Valkyr, Ren vows to cross the breach and rescue the prince, but to do so, she's forced into an uneasy alliance with one of the kidnappers, a fierce ironsmith called Julian from the exiled House of Iron, the very people who caused the breach in the first place, and the House of Bone's sworn enemy. We all know what's going to happen here. It's a YA book. As they travel, Ren and Julian spend as much time fighting each other as they do the undead. But when they discover there's more behind the kidnapping than either of them know, they'll need to work together to combat the real danger, a dark alliance that is brewing between the living and the undead. This is kind of a hefty novel. It's 464 pages. It's for grade levels 9 through 12. This is Bonesmith by Nicki Preto. Next up, we have Frontera. This is by Julio, Anta, and Jacoby Salcedo. It is a graphic novel. It is published by Harper Alley. As long as he remembers to stay smart and keep his eyes open, Mateo knows that he can survive the trek across the Sonoran Desert that will take him from Mexico to the United States. That is, until he's caught by Border Patrol only moments after sneaking across the fence in the dead of night. Escaping their clutches comes at a price, and lost in the desert without a guide or water, Mateo is ill prepared for the unforgiving heat that is sure to arrive come sunrise. With the odds stacked against him, his one chance at survival may be putting his trust in something, or rather someone, that he isn't even sure exists. If you'd asked him if ghosts were real before he found himself face to face with one, Mateo wouldn't have even considered it. But now confronted with the nearly undeniable presence of Guillermo, he's having second thoughts. Having spent his afterlife guiding migrants to safety, Guillermo knows things about the Sonoran Desert far beyond what could be explained by a mere hallucination. But even as Mateo forms an uneasy partnership with Guillermo, survival is still uncertain. The desert has hostile temperatures and inhabitants. It's teemed with danger, and as the Border Patrol and rogue militia prowl its deadly terrain, as his journey stretches on, Mateo will have to decide exactly what and who he's willing to sacrifice to find home. This is Frontera. This is by Julio, Anta, and Jacoby Salcedo. Comes out July 18th. Next, we have this one looks pretty cute. It is Ghosted, a Northanger Abbey novel. Hattie Tilney isn't a believer. Yes, she's a senior at America's most allegedly haunted high school, Northanger Abbey. But ever since her paranormal-loving dad passed away, she's hung up on her Ghostbusters suit, put away the EMF detectors, and moved on. She has enough to worry about in the land of the living, like taking care of her younger brother Liam, while their older sister spirals out and their mother, Northanger's formidable headmistress, buries herself in work. If Hattie just tries hard enough and keeps that overachiever mask on tight through graduation, maybe her mom will finally notice her. But the mask starts slipping when Hattie's assigned to be an ambassador to Kit Moreland, who's just transferred to Northanger on a ghost hunting scholarship. The two are paired up for an investigative project on the school's paranormal activity, and Hattie quickly strikes a deal. Kit will present whatever ghostly evidence he can find to prove that the campus is haunted, and Hattie will prove it's not. But as they explore the abandoned tunnels and foggy graveyards of Northanger, Hattie starts to realize that Kit might be the kind of person who makes her want to believe in something and someone for the first time. This is a slow burn romance. It looks really cute. I actually think I might pick it up, and I'm not usually a romance reader. So this is Ghosted, a Northanger Abbey novel by Amanda Quain. Next, we have House of Roots and Ruin. It's a part of the Sisters of the Salt series. This is a gothic thriller fantasy, and it's book 2 of 2, so I don't really want to ruin the first one, but if you have been anticipating the second novel, it's finally coming out. This is 544 pages for grade levels 7 through 9. The first book, House of Salt and Sorrows, was a very great novel. So here's kind of what that book is about. It's about 12 sisters who are cursed. Annalay lives a sheltered life at Highmore with her sisters and her father and stepmother. There were 12, but loneliness fills the grand halls now that 4 of the girls' lives have been cut short. Each death was more tragic than the last: the plague, the plummeting fall, a drowning, a slippery plunge, and there are whispers throughout the surrounding villages that the family is cursed by the gods. Annalay is disturbed by a series of ghostly visions, and she's increasingly suspicious that her sister's deaths were not actually accidents. The girls have been sneaking out every night to attend glittering balls, dancing until dawn in silk gowns and shimmering slippers. Annalay isn't sure if she should stop them or join them, because who or what are they really dancing with? There's a mysterious stranger, etc., etc. It's a spellbinding novel. It sounds really interesting. So now we have the second book of the series for the Sisters of Salt. The next one is The House of Roots and Ruin. So if you're looking for a gothic thriller fantasy, definitely check this one out. This is by Erin A. Craig. Next on our list today is Infested. It is an MTV fear novel. This is by Angel Luis Colón, and it comes out July 25th. I had no idea this was even a thing. So it's the summer before senior year, and Manny has just moved from Texas to the Bronx in New York. So instead of hanging with his friends and making some spending money, Manny is forced to do menial tasks in his new home. A luxury condo his stepdad is managing while stressing out about starting over. Thankfully, he meets Sasha, who is protesting the building, but turns out to be really cool. And he strikes up an unlikely friendship with Mr. Mueller, the building's exterminator. Maybe life in the Bronx won't be so bad. Then the nightmares begin, and Manny swears he has roaches crawling under his skin. When building contractors start to go missing, Manny and Sasha come to the terrifying realization that Mr. Mueller is not who he says he is. Or rather, he is, but he died decades ago in a fire exactly where Manny's new building is located. A fire that Mueller set. Now we have a race against time, and Manny must rescue his family from a deranged specter determined to set the Bronx ablaze once again. This is Infested. This is by Angel Luis Colón, and it comes out July 25th. Next on our list today is Murder on a School Night. This came out July 4th. It's a hilarious murder mystery rom-com. This is by Kate Weston. There's never a good time to find a dead body, sure. But what about finding a dead body while you're trying to kiss your crush? Carrie had different plans for her high school party, like, not going. All she wanted to do was stay home in the safety of retro rom-coms and her strict retainer schedule. Instead, her BFF, fiercely outgoing mystery fanatic Annie, has roped her into going to the party to investigate who's cyberbullying Heather, the most popular girl in school. Finding herself getting close with her dreamy crush is odd enough, but when the two of them discover Heather's second-in-command Selena suffocated with a menstrual cup, things get really weird. That is really weird. And when a second student turns up dead, this time with a sanitary pad across the eyes, Annie and Carrie, no matter how much she resists, are officially on the case to stop the menstrual murderer, period. Oh my god. What is this? This is published by Catherine Teagan Books. This is Murder on a School Night. This is by Kate Weston. Interesting. All right, the next one is Stars, Hide Your Fires. This one came out July 11th. It's by Jessica Best. It's a Knives Out ghost sci-fi, a YA mystery set in space. As an expert thief from a minor moon, Cass knows a good mark when she sees one. The Emperor's Ball is her chance to steal a fortune for herself, her ailing father, and her scrappy crew of thieves and market vendors. Her plan is simple. 1. Hitch a ride to the planet of Orus, the dazzling heart of the Empire. 2. Sneak onto the Imperial Palace Station to attend the Emperor's Ball. And 3. Steal from the rich, the royal, and the insufferable. But on the station, things go awry very fast. When the Emperor is found dead, everyone in the palace is a suspect, and someone is setting Cass up to take the fall. To clear her name, Cass must work with an unlikely ally, a gorgeous and mysterious rebel with her own reasons for being on the station. Together, they unravel a secret that could change the fate of the Empire. So if you're looking for a good YA mystery, this is by Quirk Books. This is Stars, Hide Your Fires by Jessica Best. Next, we have The Third Daughter, Volume 1. This is by Adrienne Tooley. This is a YA fantasy. and it's a slow burn LGBTQ romance. For centuries, the citizens of Vel have waited for their new maiden to return. The prophecy states she will appear as the third daughter of the third daughter. When the fabled child is finally born to Vel's reigning queen, all rejoice except for Elodie, the queen's eldest child who has lost her claim to the crown. The only way for Elodie to protect Vel is to retake the throne. To do so, she must debilitate the third daughter, her youngest sister, Brienne. That is my sister's name. Desperate, Elodie purchases a sleeping potion from Sabine, who sells sadness. But the apothecary mistakenly sends the princess away with a vial of tears instead of a harmless sleeping brew. Sabine's sadness is dangerously powerful, and Brienne slips into a slumber from which she will not wake. With the fates of the families and country hanging in the balance, Sabine and Elodie hurry to revive the third daughter while a slow-burning attraction between the two girls erupts in full force. So this is called The Third Daughter. It doesn't seem too dark. This is by Adrienne Tooley. We have 3 more on our list today. Next is Tim Burton's A Nightmare Before Christmas. It's the 30th anniversary edition, and it is for grade level 7 through 12. We all know the story of the beloved Pumpkin King of Halloween Town and how he's tired of leading the usual scares every year. He stumbles upon a mysterious tree-shaped door in the hinterlands and falls into Christmas Town, and it's an enchanting place, and he decides to recreate Christmas themselves in Halloween Town. So it's a fun, beautiful 30-year anniversary edition of The Nightmare Before Christmas. This is by Megan Shepherd. We just wanted to present this to you. This is published by Disney Press. Next book is Under This Forgetful Sky. This is by Lauren Yero. 16-year-old Rumi has spent his entire life behind the armored walls of St. Iago, which protect the citizens of the Union of Upper Cities from the outside world's environmental devastation. But when rebels infect his father with a fatal virus, Rumi escapes St. Iago, desperate to find a cure. In the ruined city of Paraiso, Rumi meets 15-year-old Paz, who agrees to guide him on his journey. As they travel together, Rumi finds himself drawn to Paz, and behind her tough exterior, she begins to feel the same way. But Paz knows more about Rumi's father's illness than she's saying and has her own agenda. With the powerful forces at play in their cities putting them at odds, can the two learn to trust each other enough to imagine a different world? This is a teen dystopian novel with clearly a slow burn romance. It's heartbreaking and heartfelt. It is Under This Forgetful Sky by Lauren Yero. And our final book today is called Their Vicious Games. This is for grade level 9 through 12. It's published by Simon & Schuster. You must work twice as hard to get half as much. Adina Walker has known this the entire time she's been on scholarship at the prestigious Edgewater Academy, a school for the rich, and mostly white, upper class of New England. It's why she works so hard to be perfect and above reproach. No matter what she must force beneath the surface, even one slip can cost you everything. And it does. One fight, one moment of lost control leaves Adina blacklisted from her top choice Ivy League college and any other. Her only chance to regain the future she sacrificed everything for is the finish, a high-stakes contest sponsored by Edgewater's founding family in which 12 young, ambitious women with exceptional promise are selected to compete in the 3 mysterious events: the Ride, the Raid, and the Royal. The winner will be granted entry into the fold of the Remington family, whose wealth and power can open any door. But when she arrives at the finish, Adina quickly gets the feeling that something isn't quite right with both the Remingtons and her competition, and soon it becomes clear that this larger-than-life prize can only come at an even greater cost, because the finish's stakes aren't just make or break, they're life and death. Adina knows the deck is stacked against her. It always has been, so maybe the only way to survive their vicious game is for her to change the rules. This is definitely like Squid Game. It's kind of like Deadly Stakes. It's a thriller. This is their Vicious Game. It's by Joelle, Wellington. And that finishes our list of dark YA reads that have come out in July 2023. Be prepared, as Halloween is coming up. We're going to be seeing a lot more dark reads. So stay tuned every Wednesday and Friday for new episodes of our podcast. Join us on our socials at Dark Side of the Library. And you can find all of our episodes at darksideofthelibrary.com. You can join us on our live streams on amazon.com/live/Dark Side of the Library. If you are looking for Halloween things, we do more than books over there, but books are our primary thing. And make sure to spread the word about this podcast to your loved ones. Let other people know about Dark Side of the Library. Thank you so much for your support, and we'll see you guys next time.